Hi there foodies, let's get started on these delicious steaks. So you might see these labeled as outside round steak or bottom round steak in the supermarket, and sometimes they might be tenderized already, or you could just use your mallet at home to tenderize them. These are very cheap, so they are tough cuts of meat. We're going to be flavoring these really well. In the bowl, I have some oil. Then I'm going to be adding green seasoning, and this is a blend that's used often in Caribbean cooking. It's scallion and garlic, onion, sometimes scotch bonnet. I do have the ingredients in the video for this green seasoning. Just go ahead and tap the link in the description box. I'm also going to be adding a beef seasoning cube. You could use Montreal steak seasoning or whatever your favorite beef seasoning is. I'm going to add some balsamic vinegar just to help tenderize the meat and to flavor the meat. After that, you can go ahead and add as much salt and pepper as you need. I'm adding some minced fresh rosemary. Then we're just going to stir everything together and massage this into the steaks. As I said before, these are cheap cuts of meat, which is great. But because they are cheap and they are lean, you want to make sure that you flavor them well. So try to season this and marinate it for about 24 hours if you can. For a large holiday meal, you could purchase a larger cut of this meat, and then what you do is season it. Just add more seasoning, more cooking time, and you can slice it in the end for your holiday spread. Now the next day, I have oil in my Dutch oven or Dutch pot as we say in Jamaica, and I'm just going to be searing the beef in there, okay? Ideally, you want to use something oven proof so you can just put it right in the oven. But if not, you might have to sear it and then put it in a roasting pan after. So we're just searing it on both sides. Get as much color as you can. And then we'll be adding some more ingredients to the pot. I've set aside the steaks because I got enough color on there. So now I'm just going to be cooking some celery and carrot. I have onions in there. Just stir them around over low to medium heat until they get slightly softened. Once they are, then you can add the garlic. You don't want to add the garlic too soon because it might burn. Once all of these are smelling great, then we can add some broth. You could do beef broth ideally, but if not, add some chicken broth. Go ahead and add 1 large bay leaf or 2 pieces and then some allspice berries. Give that a stir to loosen up all of that delicious seasoning that's stuck to the bottom of the pot. Make sure your oven is preheated to 250 Fahrenheit to 300 Fahrenheit. We're going to cook this low and slow in the oven. So just place the steaks in there. And this is a dish that you forget about it, okay? You just put it in the oven, forget about it for a while. I just added some fresh thyme and a scotch bonnet pepper whole. Then I'm adding all the juices from that plate where I rested the steaks. Make sure you have enough broth. And then you're just going to cover this, put it in the oven for 1 hour. After an hour, take that out of the oven, add some ketchup or tomato paste, add some Worcestershire sauce. You can add a little soy sauce if you like it, even steak sauce. Remember that you're doing home cooking, so you're going to add ingredients that you enjoy, okay? Stir those in, and you can give it a taste if you want to. Once you're happy with the flavor of the liquid, you're going to cover this, put it back in the oven for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. This is the type of dish that you can leave in the oven and you can get some house chores done while it's doing its thing. Then remove it from the oven. Check if the beef is tender enough. If it's tender enough, remove it, set it aside. If not, just give it some more time in the oven. If it's perfectly tender, you're just gonna pour off that liquid and strain it completely. Pour that strained liquid back into that pot. Then we are going to be adding a slurry of water and cornstarch. So this is going to thicken up this and give you a nice gravy. If you feel like you need to add more seasoning to it, go ahead, add more seasoning and simmer this till it's just slightly thicker. Taste it, and if you're happy with the flavor, add those steaks right back in there, and then you can just simmer it briefly, just to allow the steak to, absorb that delicious gravy. Then you can shred the beef. If these were larger cuts, you could slice them thinly, but because they are steaks, you can just use your fork or a shredder and just shred all of that meat and serve it with the gravy. I had this with some creamy garlic mash and buttered carrots. It's fine with rice too, but I feel like mashed potatoes are just the perfect thing to go with this. This was just the perfect comfort meal. I hope you guys get to try the recipe. Once you do, let me know how it works out for you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.